you can choose the necessary language that you're most comfortable with. So let me switch to Russian with a short introduction for the panel while the organizers are setting up the slides that will be used later. Итак, мы поговорим о
Okay, now we're going to talk about the technology of international things and tools and what kind of role it plays in the economy and for developing of the economy in the Uzbekistan case and what kind of futures we're waiting for and in the global cases using of these technologies. And we'll have a look on some samples about it from different fields of the economy, and we will see what we need for technology of the goods needs to use in Uzbekistan. About research as IDC, we see it clearly that the technologies, internet, and the things is already developed really good, and we using it wildly, and it's really good. The economic effect, impact on the economy. About the economy tools will now increase for $1 trillion. It's a huge effect. This is also the on manufacturing automatization, robotization, and all this manufacturing. It's a smart cities and a lot of cases with a smart house and with the transportation. It's really worldwide, usingly in the international field, automobiles, cars, drones, etc. We also see that this field is developing dramatically fast. This here is really important that technologies, international tools cannot work without the most important, without digitalization infrastructure, which will support them, help them, their usage, all the fields of economy.
There has been significant investment and, most importantly, significant results in ICT infrastructure that enables many things, and IoT specifically. In the past years, we've seen this tremendous development, and there are some very, very concrete and impressive plans that Uzbekistan has for the future. And I would like to turn to the Minister of Digital Technologies of Republic of Uzbekistan, Mr. Sherzod Shermatov. Minister, can you please share some of the recent really impressive results of implementing this new digital infrastructure and also the plans for the future? And that would really set the stage for our discussion, because without this digital infrastructure, we're not going to be able to implement IoT. Please.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much. Once again, I would like to welcome you, Andrew, and all the participants in the Tashkent International Investment Forum. It's a great honor for me. And IoT is a very interesting trend, and we are also thinking about how to create the necessary big infrastructure to make sure that the IoT is going to even further grow. If you just compare what we have so far and just this 5-6 years ago, what we had by that, there is a huge difference in the progress. If just 5-6 years ago, internet was considered as something very luxurious to have, especially the mobile internet was too expensive. The fiber optic lines, it was extremely rare, scarce product to have at home. But currently, it's good to see that almost all people are using internet. Internet is the main source of information to get the news, to get the new knowledge. So we are heavily investing in both.
Uzbekistan, the young generation who are looking at technology as an enabler for themselves and for their future. So, a big piece of our solution is not only that we want to, keep it for ourselves, but in fact enable SMEs who may be using, singular applications, leveraging the state infrastructure in order for them to create businesses themselves. So to have a multi-tenancy environment where they can also, generate revenues and build businesses off the back of what the state has invested in and what, other stakeholders can bring to the table. So it's certainly an exciting time. We're very happy to be here, and we're very happy to explore and network and identify how we can get involved, whether that's, the larger projects that are available today, all the way down to, entities who are working with SMEs and enabling them with the right solutions to, to take themselves forward and to continue pushing the agenda that this country has very wisely put in place to invest in the technology space.
Very cool. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Важным аспектом.
An important aspect of Internet of Things is security, and in particular when we speak about smart city. So now I'd like to give the floor to the Vice President of Digitex company, Leonid Beletsky, who is working with and implementing Internet of Things among population. And Leonid, I would like to ask you to speak about this area, and I will have maybe a couple of questions and ask you what are you already doing in Uzbekistan and how can you help Uzbekistan. Thank you very much. Thank you for invitation. We are happy to participate here. We are one of the leaders on systems of awareness of population. I'm speaking about civil security, and Poland is a country that has good tradition. They have cult of firefighters, and they have more than 100,000 voluntary firefighters. And our company was one of the first who started to work on digital platform, and that gave us opportunity to create a smart city, because in past security was meant only having alarm, but now our system and our equipment and our solutions make it possible to create critical systems that will be donor for our IT equipment that can give vulnerable data through their protocols, and civil services do not have necessity to create their own specific infrastructure. And now, second question. So we had negotiations with mining factory in Navai, and they are going to use our solutions and they're going to use our system of early detection and thank you very much. So Leonid, thank you, and probably no one can deny that security of citizens is the most important, and those solutions that you offer are really critical. And now I'd like to again speak English.
We're talking about IoT. As I mentioned at the beginning, there are all sorts of examples in all sorts of industries. But one of the interesting examples, and this is a very big priority for Uzbekistan, is the energy industry. And today with us we have Mr. Sakamoto from a very big global corporation called Mitsubishi Corporation. I'm sure you all heard of it, and he's covering Central Asia, Caucasus, and Turkey. Mr. Sakamoto, if you can share some examples of use of IoT in the energy sector and how that allows the companies in the energy sector to change and thrive, please.
Thank you very much for giving me a chance to talk in this way. First of all, why we put importance on the energy sector? This is because that we have a very good touching point on the energy sector in Uzbekistan. Since 1993, with the establishment of our office, we've been working for the development of infrastructure and energy and many industries. And especially improvement of the power sector, energy generation. So we realized, we participated in the realization, the construction of the power plants in Uzbekistan. For example, in Navoi region, Talimarjan, Turakurgan. Of course, that was a participation and the realization in the construction stage. But through that, we could gain the experience there, and we could have a touching point to the industry. And we believe that part is a very important sector where IoT can be utilized more. Now, in order to operate all the production facility and the generation works, we think quite a lot of the skills, experience shall be required. But if we apply for IoT for those process, of course, first of all, increase of the efficiency will be realized, but also transfer of invisible skill, technology, and other experience can be transferred and shared with many, many people. Of course, Uzbekistan is full of rich human resources, but IoT can accelerate more. So this is a future opportunity here. And why Uzbekistan? I would like to touch upon that. Uzbekistan, in this region, is a center of many industries. Quite a lot of industrial arms are here. So that's why if IoT will be applied, first of all, with a single point, it can be started in one single production facility or plant. But maybe then it can be go enlarged to more into the sector in totally. So that means that in Uzbekistan, there's going to be a possibility to have wider application in the sector. And the power sector, energy sector, is only the example. It can be applied for others, but as we have a very touching point, so that's why as a company, we are now trying to discuss and deepen our study more how we can contribute in the sector. So now we are at the stage of considering business development in the application of the IoT, utilizing such IoT technology for the increase of efficiency and also for rather efficient operation. So this is what I would like to talk. So this is the industry-wise very potential market, and it can contribute to the further development of the country. And also we'll be very happy to be a part of that. And the second thing, I'd like to add another approach. This is a slide. I mentioned only one page. This is another approach to the industry. So this is not regarding the energy. This is regarding the construction sector, which has a quite a traditional aspect. So we are working with one Turkish conglomerate, Çalık Group, in Turkey to establish a platform for workers and also the construction machinery. This is a platform approach. Of course, we could achieve a certain volume of platform with those applications, but in that sector also, we have a kind of the possibility to apply for IoT in the future. Because those construction sectors are very traditional. Maybe it can be interpreted that the sector is far from technology like IoT or something. But actually, through the establishment of the platform, we may have a more touching point to IoT. So this is what I'm thinking. Thank you very much.
This is very impressive. I mean, we all know Mitsubishi Corporation is very well diversified, and especially in the industry. So the examples and these best practices that you mentioned in the energy sector, in the construction sector, and many others, if they're brought to Uzbekistan, I think that would have a tremendous impact. Thank you very much. Thank you. Continuing on various sectors, one very important sector that stands out for Uzbekistan is agriculture, and very closely linked to that is water. So agriculture is very important for Uzbekistan, but also this region does have problems with water, but we're actually seeing that globally water scarcity is becoming a very important issue. And here I would like to turn to Mr. Rush Sandhu, CEO and Chief Business Scientist at AI Hadler Bikal, which stands for British Innovation, Knowledge and Advanced Learning. And I heard you have some examples in the agriculture sector that are linked with, let's say, more careful water usage, that would allow us to save some water. Please.
Yeah, sure. So yes, thank you for the invitation, and thank you for all the attendees and speakers. So yeah, I'll run through some examples, and I think a couple of points were made earlier, how an application will change depending on the environment. So in the UK, for instance, IoT devices are used for a water network when it comes to irrigation and standard supply as well, because they have to prioritize where to repair the pipes. And that's not down to just obviously saving money on the pipes. They don't have enough engineers. So the scarcity is actually in the human resource there. So you have to predict where to prioritize that fixing of pipes. And then you have, when it comes to machinery, and we talk about investment and where to put the money, you can do that through value creation, right? So where there's inefficiencies, there's opportunity. So a simple example is if you have a tractor, so if you have a farm, you might need 2 tractors, right? There's sometimes a small window when it comes to doing the harvest. So in parts of India, for instance, they can't afford to have double tractors, or farms may share. There'll be one redundant tractor. But by using IoT devices, you can actually apply accelerators on specific components on the tractor which may fail. And that vibration, the accelerator will give out vibration feeds to computing, and then you can detect when that part will fail. So then that eliminates the need for an additional tractor to be on standby. So there's many of those simple value, a tractor, I think it's $60,000, $70,000 or something like that. So there you go, you've already created some value there. Another example is a drone, which is basically an IoT device, if you think about it. And that's been used to deliver pesticides. Again, does it in a third of the time of human labor, and you can deliver it at the point of when it's optimized. So that means you've got your sensors in the ground, you've got looking for acidity, has there been rainfall? So you optimize your production on that side as well, when to harvest, when to grow, when to sow your seeds as well. So that's how we look at it. If you can define your challenge statement, that's where you will extract the value, and then you can create that investment. The additional part with Uzbekistan, what we see is and this is all about being collaborative and not being competitive, is that you do have a young population, right? So this is where our plan is by empowering the youth here to actually build those products, right? So I think from what we've seen in the last sort of year and a half we've been working here, you've got the human resource, right? You've got young population, self-taught, right? Not everybody can go to universities. One of the students said, one of the developers said to me, YouTube is their best teacher. So they are being proactive on that. But you need to empower them now to be able to actually set up those tech startups that obviously the country wants, right? So what we're doing is basically saying, okay, you need small Raspberry Pi devices, you need small IoT sensors, we can bring those in. You run small tests. And again, this goes back to, UK or the Western, companies coming here. Don't build in legacy, right? The whole thing with AI and IoT is you have to be agile. Today you might need a sensor, tomorrow you might need a camera. 5G will enable both of those. So the network side of it is, again, keep it agile, make sure it's going to create value in the future as well, and not hold things up. So agriculture will benefit a lot. There's a straightforward mathematics we found that is possible. But then also on the back of that, you can actually create intellectual property, because there's still a lot of scope that hasn't been implemented, let alone Uzbekistan, in other parts of the world as well.
This is very interesting. And you mentioned that you've been working here for a year and a half. And what are the plans to further support Uzbekistan?
So IoT is going to be like a hose pipe of data, right? So the last thing you want is, the saying goes, 4G was built for human to machine, right? So you could, view YouTube videos quicker and things like that. 5G is machine to machine. So how do you get that tractor before the component fails, it talks to another machine to say, okay, go and order me this part, or do a 3D printing of that part, all right? So that's where the future will go, and that will be enabled by, we believe, in artificial intelligence, having the machines talk to each other, but also having connectivity. If there's 5G connectivity, you have that in real time. For drones to be flying around, you need to have that 5G connectivity as well.
Cool. And Uzbekistan is implementing together with United Nations smart agriculture project, so I'm sure there's a lot of linkages to that, and that can be used. Speaking of readiness of Uzbekistan to implementation of IoT, I wanted to turn to the next speaker, Mr. Davron Abdumaminov. He's an international consultant and director of technology and IT solution branch of KPMG here in Uzbekistan. Davron, пожалуйста, поделитесь своим.
Please share your opinion. What do you think? What is the key points of this to implementing IoT in Republic of Uzbekistan? Overall, thank you very much for inviting me. I can't see any kind of problems to implementing this. The Uzbekistan is ready for this, and as all the speakers said before, that is the concept of technology. Radio. Some of the colleagues said that they're not using only one operator, not 4G, 5G. They're using all kind of different technologies to implementing it all at once. That's first, and second one is that we need the highly educated, specialized people who knows how to use this project and to implementing as well. And I want to say that UAT is the like subsystems of like saving data, structuring data, and so on. And all of this needed the sum of people who know how to work with the system. And I want to highlight as well that this kind of decisions needed to have that thought. that sort of needed to be not static but also cloud sort, and it gives the coding team to get the structured data and get the results as fast as they can, because the data will be stored in sort cloud. And also the technology, the AWS, that you can get the access of infrastructural system pretty fast. And this concept is really important. I think that's the point of it. It's like the government is looking at it, and I hope that the government will help to educate these new professions and implement them on these new jobs. I'm great that some of the thought, if there is no thought, it's pretty hard to get the structure right, information of that. As I see now in Uzbekistan, there's a lot of the construction side of the thoughts is pretty huge, pretty magnificent on it, like they increasing it. And right now we are doing the standardizing and learning how to implement thoughts and like the data centers, build the data centers a lot, and where to put them. And shortly we will share the draft result of this with everyone. Thank you, Devran, for your comments. I hope that we also know the KPMG company that is very diversified. My colleague, that he is the leader of the KPMG in Central Asia, and he told me as that not only about the accounting service, your service is doing more for the data center support, and with the help of the IoT, you will help the IoT grow in Uzbekistan. Yes, we are investing a lot in IoT, and also public sectors, manufacture sector, and on the regions, we are already implementing the data centers. That's a theme of this session, is how to control and structurize and prognose about the data. I want to highlight about a small case. It's really important that on the whole world that the hybrid car is getting more popular. And now in our cities, KPMG also working in the sector. It was a big surprise for me. It's the manufacturing company in implementing IoT into the car service. How to use this car, how to use the stations of, how to take care of the batteries. And it would have been really important that the future of it is also the electric cars. And they all in all these cars they implemented the 4G and 5G services. Also, like basically car becoming a phone. Thank you very much. As you know, that today's car is like the big data center. That's really great that you mentioned about the cars, that because our next speaker is one of the co-founders of the company Syntec, who's created their road, their history about with cars and the security in Kazakhstan, and now they are grown to a big platform of the I want to ask Asad Akhmetov, the co-founder of Syntec, tell us about the questions about the infrastructure. Shehzad Khatamich told us that infrastructure in telecommunication is really important. I know it, but I also know that, and also there was an issue with the electricity because all these devices that we're using now, working on a lithium battery, they need electricity. So I said, if you can, maybe you can tell us, share your opinion and tell a little bit the history of your company and how you.
Андрей, очень приятно принять ваше приглашение на участие в этом форуме. Господин министр, спасибо. Вот действительно очень интересная тема. Допустим, кейс такой, что все, вот сейчас мы не раз слышали, что последняя миля, то есть магистральные каналы связи, но, допустим, вот на слайде у коллег из Бонд были кейсы, когда мы рассматриваем средства связи и Bluetooth, и 5G, и 4G, и все беспроводные, это не охватывая оптику, но мы еще не слышали же беспроводного электричества. То есть, когда мы говорим про последнюю милю в электрификации, то классически это строительно-монтажные работы, но есть очень большая тенденция в IoT-девайсах в частности, что конечные устройства, если раньше IoT-девайсы были очень мало энергоэффективными, то есть это были датчики, скажем, счетчиков электричества, воды, датчики объема на дорогах, присутствия. Это простейшие датчики, которые могли на одной батарейке пальчиковой проработать годы. Вот. На сегодня IoT-девайсы, они, то есть это большие вычислительные модули, это Computer Vision, и, соответственно, на батарейках, которых хватает на год, еще не существует. Вот. И решение проблемы электрификации стояло во главе, потому что если какой бы ни был умный девайс, если ты его не подключишь к электричеству, ну, как бы звучит утопически, но да, то есть у нас покрытие 5G, 4G, там оптика даже приходит, но оптика, она пассивная, может там сотни километров идти без электричества. Соответственно, решение проблемы электричества стояло во главе. И вот мы живем в очень интересное время. Буквально недавно появились там технологии по очень быстрому беспроводному интернету. Буквально недавно появились очень энергоэффективные вычислительные машины, как NVIDIA Jetson, ну, то есть очень хорошие сервера, микрокомпьютеры, которые, скажем, потребляют относительно небольшую.
Don't consume too much energy, and all big players wanted to use them in IoT, and our main.
А чтобы быстро строить, мы решили уйти от строительно-монтажных работ, то есть мы не можем.
To create smart cities like Tashkent, put cables, and we need to find solutions for batteries, for new batteries, lithium batteries, and they really improve the situation. And the last mile in electricity for today is a good connection between batteries and wireless network, wireless connection. For example, you know, Uzbekistan is in good latitude, and here it will be very efficient to use solar panels, because in Kazakhstan it's impossible to use solar energy, and Uzbekistan has much more advantages if you have solar panel, solar battery storage, and it will give us good effect. And Sergey, our project of smart city, smart cities cannot work without smart logistics and transportations, because there are a lot of traffic jams. We should think about security. Security is important for the citizens, and we could achieve in Kazakhstan. We could decrease little cases during the traffic incidents, and according to the analytical information, we call it ITS 2.0. We not only calculating amount of vehicles, we identify our vehicles, and we make forecasts of traffic jams, and we make special routes for our buses, and try to make our population try to provide all the possibilities, all the conveniences for our population, and we have good players in the sphere of smart city, and cities have a lot of benefits, and efficiency is increasing because we can save time of our citizens, and of course first, the most important is security, and I think that is why these projects are important. Thank you very much, Asit. Yesterday during plenary session where Mr. President also visited, and somebody said that we can use a lot of solar energy here in Uzbekistan, and there are a lot of possibilities for this. And you started using cameras in the beginning, and what are the sensors you use in your solutions? For today, we are analyzing air quality. This is a very important trend, and when I was here in winter, I saw that they have also smoke issue, so we are making air quality measurement. And in order to solve a problem, first you need to measure it, because we can see it by our own eyes that there is an issue, and we need to understand where the smoke comes from. And before taking measures, we need to identify where the smoke comes from. First of all, we use our sensors in order to categorize type of vehicles that makes emission, and we can model this situation, and we can calculate impact of each vehicle on environment. And there are another type of sensors that measure sound, especially in warm countries, when some vehicles produce a lot of noise, and in some cities there are a lot of construction works, developing cities, I mean, and we can link sound noise to a particular vehicle. Some vehicles probably make noise because they are not working according to the standards, and such type of regulation is also important for the citizens, because smart city should be a very convenient city. Now I have traditional question. What projects are you implementing in Uzbekistan, and what would you like to start implementing in the future? For today, we have a working project in Uzbekistan. It's a small project, but we already have it. We have completed all the procedures, we have all the certificates and so on. But for us, it's very important. Tashkent city is a big city, and when our products start influencing on life of the big cities of Tashkent, and our goal, first of all, is security, and I believe that we can increase level of security on the next level, and all cities in the world. And this is a trend not only for Uzbekistan, this is a trend for the whole world, that cities should be smart. And I believe that we can develop our business in Uzbekistan as well. Thank you very much. I said, I wish you good luck. And you were speaking about electricity and sensors. IoT sensors. You were speaking that the IoT sensors need electricity, and this is true for today. And last week, I was in Shenzhen, and I visited offices, laboratories, Huawei company, and together with Shazot Khatamovich, we were visiting the same places, and Huawei in particular showed a new sensor of a new type. The sensor was quite conventional, but they showed the first sensors that will work without any type of electricity. It will be charged from those frequency waves that covers him, including 5G frequency waves, and this will be enough. This will be enough for its work, and this type of sensor will transfer information, maybe temperature or humidity and anything. So you can use this sensor, and it will work without electricity, and will be charged from frequency waves. And now I'd like to give the floor to the representative of Huawei company. This is a really huge company, and it produces not only sensors but works in the sphere of developing of infrastructure, and working for more than 20 years in Uzbekistan, and is doing a lot for Uzbekistan. And I would like to ask you to share your vision, what Huawei is doing in IoT sphere, please.
Dear moderator, your excellency speakers, I'm wireless expert in Huawei Uzbekistan, and let's talk about MBIoT and how to modernize Uzbekistan in this sphere. So now our honorary speakers talked about, for example, gold mining, agriculture, smart cities. So for this is everything is okay, but we have to build the signal. And how we can build the signal for all these spheres. And actually Huawei is working in three spheres in Uzbekistan. This is consumer business, this is carrier business, and this is enterprise business. And the main important here is carrier business, which I'm working. So we are working with all the operators in Uzbekistan, like Uzmobile, UMS, and Beeline. And they already have very good infrastructure. Mobile penetration in Uzbekistan is coming to 100% in these days. And LTE penetration is coming to the 80% by the end of 2023. So this is actually very good infrastructure to all the spheres, make this signal for the NB-IoT, narrowband Internet of Things. As my colleague told, we have a lot of concepts and like LoRaWAN, like LTM, like NB-IoT, but from the carrier perspective, I think, and our vision of Huawei is, it's better to use cellular operators with their infrastructure of the LTE and build NB-IoT based on the LTE network. So that's why the coverage is, as I told, 80%. And as a wireless expert, I can tell you that sometimes it's just software upgrade to make NB-IoT possible in some area. For example, in Tashkent, LTE penetration is very good. And the comparing with the LTE, NB-IoT has very narrow band, and penetration is very good. So I can provide several cases. For example, now Uzbekistan office in Middle East and Central Asia region, we are within Huawei, we are learning from this region as well. But very good case from Kazakhstan actually. Now one operator in Kazakhstan initiated NB-IoT coverage in the country, and already in Almaty with the Huawei, more than 100 base stations is working and providing smart electricity, smart gas, and smart water meters. So this is the very good case when third-party IoT platforms, Huawei, and the B2B department of the operator cooperating for providing such stuff for the people and also for the country.
Okay, very cool. And what are your plans in Uzbekistan in the area of IoT for the nearest future?
Actually, we already have smart gas meters in Uzbekistan. This is, if I'm not mistaken, maybe more than 5 million. But all these gas meters and electricity meters working with 2G technologies like GPRS. This is actually good, this is smart, but I think step by step it go further for the LTE technology and NB-IoT based on the LTE. And my vision is we should have some national strategy as well. For example, for digital technologies, Ministry of like emergency situations, Ministry of Construction, and the cooperation of all government structures to build some national view or vision as like digital Uzbekistan 2030. And for business, I think we have very good market in Uzbekistan. For example, as my colleague told, Sergek, this is actually a very beautiful name, Turkic, like in Uzbek, this Sergek. I think those kind of businesses will be very happy come to our country. And Huawei, from our perspective, we can provide this tube, as I told, because a lot of equipment of the operator by Huawei. And also, for example, we have data center in Tashkent region. This is about cloud solutions. So I think Huawei can help and for sure will help in these spheres. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I 100% agree with you. And you know, my vision is for the Central Asia region is to grow as one big digital market, because when it's big, that's when it becomes interesting to global players to come and operate here. And for that, we need first the infrastructure that transmits, whether it's wired, and then the next level is wireless. We need the data centers and the cloud that would be processing, and then after that we can have all these very, very cool applications that we have discussed during the panel today. And before we close, I wanted to give the microphone to the Minister again to provide some closing remarks. And maybe a vision for the future of Uzbekistan with regarding to technologies and also IoT. Shirzod Khatamovich.
Thank you very much. Today's panel was very interesting to hear for me as well. There are so many new ideas, new initiatives. And for Uzbekistan, as you have rightly mentioned, there are many opportunities to invest, especially in IoT area as well, since we have ambitious agenda of digital Uzbekistan 2030. We would like to make Uzbekistan an IT hub. So we are constantly working on improving our legislation. Already for IT companies, we provide very competitive environment, so they are not paying any taxes. Even their workers are paying less taxes than in other industries. We are investing a lot on capacity building, on IT education, and of course, we are trying to make the very competitive digital infrastructure available so that it will meet all the other requirements. And also, we are pushing digitization agenda for all other government agencies as well as the state-owned enterprises, like it was mentioned here, so that all those state-owned enterprises as well as the government agencies, once they think about digitization, then they will expose the opportunities like if for the case of the water saving. There is a huge agenda on the Ministry of Water to save the water, which in turn will save the electricity, because most of the water is gathered through the electricity in remote parts of Uzbekistan. So this is all interrelated, and I hope that all this ambitious agenda of the government in synergy with all the private partners here will open up the further perspectives of mutually beneficial win-win projects. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Minister, I very much encourage the representatives of the Ministry of Digital Technologies and Ministry of Investment to follow up with the participants of the panels, especially those that have mentioned that they're ready to come and to invest or expand their investments in Uzbekistan, because I like every panel to have a tangible result, and especially at such an important forum for Uzbekistan. Thank you very much to all of the panelists. Thank you very much to all of the participants. And I look forward to seeing you more, and also at the next Tashkent International Investment Forum next year. Thank you very much. Я предлагаю сделать...
I would like to say that let's make a photo all together. Thank you.